Okay, so today's lesson, we're going to be looking at chapter 2. I think closing chapter 2. This is a conclusion to chapter 2. So we're going to discuss how to approach the packet tracer labs, then look at one of the labs which is in the physical mode. Very interesting, the physical mode, because if you're not going to be coming to campus, the physical mode is the closest thing that you can get to doing labs physically. That's the closest thing that you can get. So we're going to look at one of the labs which is in the physical mode. Now, to begin with, scrolling through the account. If you go through my accounts and you will see the basic content that you have that you are going to be using to study, like this one. I think I sent you a PDF file. It has almost the identical thing. And I said, if you don't meet some of the requirements that is needed on the account, it will be very difficult for us getting access to the discounts. That is the academy and its policy saying students are supposed to go through online content, go through all the questions that are there, attempt all the assignments that are there, attempt all the exams that are there, and get minimum 70%. That is um, for the training and the skills assessment and all that. For the final exam, I think you soon find out for you to pass, you need at least around 80% pass mark to pass. 1,000 points, but you need 800 needed to pass. Right. So as you can see, the module one, myself and my account, I'm already at 86%. The reason why is because I'm not watching the videos. If you are watching the videos and if you are doing everything, you can clock 100% easy, no problem. So this is the number you're supposed to be playing around. Anything around 70%, it works. So you might work offline using the PDF files that I've sent you, but every time you get online, just browse through. You don't need to be actually reading. For example, I can just do this. Once you do this, it will automatically tick. But at times, don't make it a habit. At times, go and read online. Go and read a whole chapter online. It works. But if you don't have a connection, you can work offline. And when you go online, you just browse through next, browse through next. It doesn't take you much time. Right. So as you browse through, I think I've said there are a couple of questions that are there. Number one, right? Let me look at introduction 2.1 Cisco iOS. Okay, pass. Right, 2.1. Right, there are questions, for example, here, 2.16. Check your understanding. Those are questions, right? Which will be used to assess you. All right, iOS navigation. I want to go to the packet tracers. 2.28, these are questions as well. There are no packet tracers there. These ones are also interesting. The syntax checker. I think we went through these days, through this syntax checker on Wednesday. Then I'm trying to find where they are labs. Right here. Packet tracer 2.37. At 2.37, we have a packet tracer lab. This is what we will be using for simulating our labs. And as soon as I go to the section which has the packet tracer, I think my IDM is automatically picking up the files that needs to be downloaded. So the files that needs to be downloaded, let me see. Where are they? These ones, packet tracer. You are supposed to download them. This one is a PDF file with the questions that you're and the instructions that you're going to be using to do your lab. The other one, this one, is a PKA file, which has the lab and which is the file that you run on Packet Tracer. So you download those files. For every lab that you're going to go through, you download those files. Then for this one, which is written lab, that is an actual physical lab. You can still do it using the simulation tools that we have. but it's there so that we can do a physical lab, a practical thing, not a simulation. So now after you've downloaded all the labs, this is where you will get. This is what I did. I think it's much wiser to just download all of them. Go to the sections which has packet tracers and you download all of them. And this is what you get. So starting with chapter 1, there's a packet tracer at 1.05, 1.57, 2.37, up until chapter 17. All of these are labs. So most of you, not most, probably some of you won't even do the labs. Someone will need to send the labs. That is exactly what I'm going to do, I think. So I'm going to zip this file and send you this. You download and you attempt every lab. You go through the lab. There are instructions that you're going to be given. You follow whatever is being instructed. You check your percentages. As you follow, that's how you learn. There are questions which are going to be asked. You try to respond to those questions. If you do not understand, they are always free. And I'm always available. You come through and discuss. Right. That said, today I want us to look at 2.9, the physical mode. What is it? Is it 2.92? Right, it's 2.92. This is the one we're going to look at. As for you, you're supposed to do, and I mean it, every lab. Go through every lab, come back to me with something that you didn't get. Because in those labs, that's how you get to practice. There are instructions, clear instructions to do. And I think that's how we're going to work. Today, I'm going to touch on this one. No, not 2.91, 2.92. This one. Physical mode. So this one demonstrates, like I said, the closest thing that you can have to actually doing a lab, a physical lab. Why? Because it's in physical mode. Let's check out what physical mode means. Right, voila. This is the physical mode. I need to remove something here. Let's remove this file. So this one is not in the physical mode. Which mode is this one? It's the logical, right? As you can see, this is the logical mode. Then we have the physical mode. So this is the logical mode. It does not show you the location of the devices that you're dealing with. When we talked of topologies, I don't want it to seem as if they are the same, but when we talked of topologies, we talked of the logical and the physical topology. The logical showing you the addresses and the physical showing you the location of the devices. It's almost the same here in the sense that the physical mode shows you the actual physical devices, their actual locations, etc., etc. Right, this is what I usually do. I drag these tables so that I can browse through the menus like this. These are my tasks. This is my addressing table showing the IP addresses that I'm going to use. This is my topology, the one which is in the logical side. Right, so what are you being asked to do? What you are being asked to do is to set up a network. I'm not going to go through the tasks. I'm just going to go through what needs to be done. Because if you follow the task one by one, it will take much time to do that. So I think what we are being asked to do, if you go through the objectives, we are going to set up the network topology, configure the PCs, configure and verify the basic switch settings. That is basically what we're going to do. And that is what we learned on Wednesday. Starting with the topology, we're going to set up a topology like that one. And what we have on my right here, can I zoom in? Let me see. All right, what we have on my right here, I hope people can see. Just a minute. Let me do this. Let's have more space here. All right. So what I have on my left Here, that's the topology we're going to design. On my right, starting here, we have, if I can zoom in, power distribution device. In a cabinet, just a minute. Excuse me, just a minute. Okay. In a cabinet, if I can start with saying this is a cabinet that we have here, a rack, right? This is a rack. This is where we put all the devices. If you've ever been in an office which has a rack, a cabinet, you have something like this, and this is where you put all your devices in there. Like this. I can drag. Hey, ¿qué pasa? Let me zoom using, where is the zoom? Right. I can drag my switches and I put them there. This is what a rack looks like if it is filled in with all the devices. Something like this. Right. This is what a rack looks like with all your switches, right? Here at the top, we have the power distribution device. This is basically where all the power for the devices is coming from, right? So this is our rack. Then here we have our cable pegboard. This is where all our cables are. Your consoles, your your crossover cables, your fiber cables. I think there's fiber there, this one. Okay, your crossover with your USB. This is used for the phone. I don't know, probably it's the C type. Then we have the coaxial cable. This is the serial, DCE and DTE. Do we not have fiber here? We have the copper straight through. We should have fiber. We have USB and this one USB as well. We don't have fiber. Copper crossover. Copper crossover. Okay, for this section, we don't have fiber. But there, we have the type of cables that we are going to be using. If you can see from our topology, like I said, these lines represents the media, which is used to transmit our information, which are the cables in this instance. Right. Here also, I have my PCs, and I can move them and put them on the table. As you can see, you can drag them and move them on the table. So when I say that this is the next best thing to doing a physical lab, is because if I say set up a network like this one on my left, one of the things probably that I'm going to do is to move my PCs to the table. So I have two PCs, PCA and PCB. I move them to the table. I don't keep them in the shelf. I don't make my connections in the shelf. As you can see, there is a shelf there. At the top, let me see. There's a shelf there where we keep all our devices, right? There's a shelf. So you cannot make connections from the shelf. You move devices from the shelf. Computers, they go to the tables. Your switches, your routers, they go to the cabinet, to the rack, right? So I've moved my PCs, PCA and PCB to the table. First thing that I've done. Then I move switch 1 and switch 2. They belong to the rack. So I already have switch 2 here. I remove this one. I don't know which one is this one. Switch 1 is there. I remove this one because we're not going to be using it. Right, I have switch 1 and switch 2 there. If I zoom in a little bit, right there, switch 1 and switch 2, they are now in the rack. If I want to make my connections, my first connection is coming from PCA, going to port number fast Ethernet 06. So which type 06 is the copper crossover cable or copper straight through cable? In this straight through, you just click on it or you drag, right? Hey, my PC is losing. Okay, that's the issue. My PC is an i5, 8 gig RAM. But look at in a programming. You need a very powerful PC. This is the beginning. yemauye edu atiri kuita malabs edu ari kuita, they are not that huge, they don't take that much space per RAM, but look at what is happening. But tazotanga kuita ma-wireless LAN, if you don't have a proper PC, it will be a disaster. I think for this one is because Ntukurana is wet in the background. That's why it's becoming a bit slow. But I was saying, you click on the cable, your mover, then you know to highlight to port number, or you can zoom in. Kuti unyatsoona port raoda kuisa. Port ratida kuisa is switch number 1, port 6. So that is basically what we're going to do. Switch number 1 is this one. Right click. I can inspect the front ports. Those are going to switch in real life 6. This is port number 6. Port number 6. If I click, it changes to green, meaning I've made the connection. Cable yangu. Cable hiyo ilienda kupi? Ilienda ku PCA. I go to PCA where connect pa fast Ethernet port the PC. There I've made my connection. You see cable inova ku switch yovabuda this one cable ish. Inova switch ichienda ku PC. That's how you make my connections even in a lab. It's as simple as that. If you have a cable kunga connect up a PC, only connect up a port repa switch. Other cable inova pa PCB is 232 connect kwa cable ye console. So there's a cable pasiripo. We go back to set up a first. You're going to papi. You're going to have a port 18. As you can see, pa port chero. I go by the chero cable. I inspect the front. I zoom in port number 18. Some 18. So I click port number 18. Okay, is a port serial. There's things to not like this one. Correct. You get my percentages. That's the good thing about doing my packet tracer labs. You are given instruction. If you do it correctly, with the percentage going up, showing the progress that you are making. Can percentage is because you're doing something which is not correct. And the percentage area up 20, then this 01, 01. If I can just as well explain what is fast Ethernet, can start fast Ethernet. I think it's a thing that there's actually a chapter where we introduce good fast Ethernet, Giga Ethernet, Qi. For now, the best understanding that you can get, fast Ethernet is a type of a link at normal speeds which can reach up to 100 megabytes. So if our link or a port sometimes is called fast up to a gigabytes per second, it is called a gigabit Ethernet cable, gigabit Ethernet link, or a gigabit Ethernet. The difference. They got fast, think 100 megabytes. They got gig, think 1 gig or more, depending. We have my 10 gig, we have my 40 gig. Right. So let's go switch. So I go to rear as well. The rear is switch. Right at the back, I got square up. Right. That is the back of the cable. Pan up, I can flip the orienters up front. So as you do practice, look at port number 1. Do I a cable young port number 1? Do I have a switch? I zoom in. Do I have a port number 1? There's a cable young percent. It's because we've now managed to set up topology proper. Like I said, and I repeat, the physical devices that you're going to have, this is exactly the same thing that you're going to be doing. Ndoma connections that is if all configuration hapana internet tikati connection or tikati network, don't think the internet always. I've always had internet. No. Internet is a type of and we can have communication connected via the media tinayo internet iripa. Tapeza kusa topology yedu my devices are switch kwa on. People tend to wakaita theory zakawanda wakazosvika paground, they forget to make the logical packet tracer iri the logical side. Zvamunongoita kungosvika unoklika modrega ka console kenyu moisa moklika motenda ku desktop motenda ku terminal hamuna switcha on my device. This is the next best thing. So for example, let me device kuti vakudzidzise kuti my device anofanira kuitwa on ndoti mukuti on toenda pane red up. That's how we switch red up to switch off. If I click ndikaenda pa desktop then on the PC yedu PC yangu yakaremerwa networking chaiyo vamwe muchapedzisira mane ma 32 gig ram chaiyo. So this one taita on toenda pa desktop to check kuti memory yangu yamanda kuenda kupa because I can feel my laptop three days. Right, memory nyana. I close WhatsApp. Maybe those if you my questions. Chino to remain. It's not the same machine. The other one is check logical. This one is a bit heavy on the machine, right? My devices edu ta connect ta switch on my PCs. My switch, the moment you want my power. This one, this specific one, I think my 2960. These specific ones, the moment you want my power, I don't have to switch on. Apana switch it on and off. These ones. But Panama there is a switch. You know for a switch on and off. Right. So for these ones, I think I got it on already. Apana switch up. Now we want to configure the basic switch configuration. But before we get there, one of the first things that you need to do, ukashikapa network, configure my PCs, my IP address. Addressing table tapiwa. Let me see if we can go take my addresses while you trace up on my PCs, Edu. Right. To our addressing table, these are IP addresses. I go to IP configuration. PCB IP address is 192.168.1.11. Right. The subnet mask is 192.168.1.11. Chat member kindly share my labs. Yes, we are here. Okay. Let's go. Panava default gateway. The reason why Fastness got default gateway is because this is a local area network. Hapana with the remote network, hapana with the remote connection. That's why default gateway it wasn't as important. But when I did my lesson on Wednesday, I put so much emphasis on default gateway so that pese pamuno create a network here going forward, you always think and see kuti paunoisira IP address, always think kuti default gateway ichi, because it is very easy to forget. And now that's how you get my network security. Network yedu to try kupinda pa internet haisi kuenda, but communicate between the local area network it works, but haisi kuenda pa internet. Why? Because inenge isina default gateway. That is one of the problems zvinowanzokonzeresa kuti macompanies atsvage maspecialist kuti auya aona kuti chii chiri kuitika. Tongoya toisa default gateway. Muchangoya moisa default gateway some of you. 168, it's 110. See? Iri kuti kwamuri uko. Inoshanda. Tui. Now imagine, patianga tanga kuita malabs anenge ane 4-5 mark out.